so it's a reimbursable expense, every 2 years. And see how that goes, if that's often enough. I think, some places do it a little more often, but might have a little bit more in it, but $150 for a pair of boots every 2 years should get us a long way, so we'd like to implement that into our personnel policy.
I called Thompson Shoes in Manchester, and their steel-toed shoes are anywhere from $90 to $155, but Walmart's are only $25 to $75. So depending on where you go, $150 is, top of the line, or
That was for a pair of like Red Wings,
yeah, and that's what Thompson Shoes sells.
Is that what they carry?
So 155 would be top of the line.
They would have to bring a receipt in anyway, wouldn't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we'd have to implement some procedure to be able to document and keep track of it, make sure it's every 2 years.
Just too high.
So if they wanted to buy a lesser expensive shoe, they could up to $150 if they bought 2 pair of lesser expensive.
Yeah.
But they'd have to qualify, wouldn't they, for what the city wants them to have?
Well, we want to have some type of protective toe. It doesn't have to necessarily be steel. As long as it was like there's another material that's used that I can't recall what that is, but it's not necessarily steel toe. What's that?
It's a plastic
Plastic
composite.
composite. Okay.
Part of plastic composite.
Okay.
Would all departments need this?
I think just at-risk departments, public works, wastewater treatment, water, those are gonna be out, sewer collections.
City office personnel, maybe they could have a toeless shoe, maybe?
Did you want to comment on that, Randy?
Well, a lot of it's gonna be based on job hazard analysis, going around observing departments, actually what they do, and I have done some of that. And, which has, you see the street department working with heavy equipment as well as concrete, et cetera, et cetera. That under OSHA requires protective equipment for their feet. Same thing with the wastewater treatment plant. Many times they're working around, as well as the sewer department as well, with the manhole covers, working with heavy equipment again, so it's required. The only other thing I will say too, of course, the $150 over 2 years, which we certainly agree upon. One thing we're gonna have to, of course, maintain is that, to remember is that if even a good pair of Red Wings could get tore, could get ripped, under the right circumstance. So that's always something that we'll have to address at that point in time. If a pair of boots within the environment, within their normal environment, or within a work situation, they would have to get tore or ripped. They would have to be replaced. So, okay. As long as they're not being abused. That's the main thing. As long as they're not being abused. But the $150 certainly should be sufficient, and as long as they're well taken care of, as long as the boots are well taken care of, a good pair of work boots should last 2 years.
Thank you, Randy. Any other discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Hill,
I would second that.
second by Engen. Roll call, please.
Engen?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Holland?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Crimson?
Yes.
Switzer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 14, motion to adopt a resolution approving the purchase of tools and equipment totaling $1,055, whoops, excuse me. I should be back on 13, I'm sorry. 13, motion to adopt a resolution approving the Independence Commercial Restoration Rehabilitation new construction program. Steve?
Yeah, and this is an update to a cleaning up of the commercial corridor rehabilitation program application, if you will. We discussed this many months ago, and we worked this through a street committee and eliminated some of the question marks in there as far as, we talked about program assistance being limited to commercial corridor businesses, and we talked as a council as a whole actually before about making that available to any commercial business that would want to do facade improvement. example of Gator that was looking to do a facade improvement, but they weren't in the commercial corridor, so. For that reason, we deleted that portion, so any commercial business would be eligible. We also addressed new construction. That was something that was questioned before too, with when there was discussion of possibly a new building across the street here. You know, would they be able to get commercial corridor funding to help with like a block facade? So that was something that we implemented in here too, that yes, something like that would qualify as well. And everything else stays the same as far as a total amount. $10,000 is the maximum amount. You know, any viewable side of a building, so a building with 4 sides, you could have up to $2,500 a side, so that'd be $10,000. I think those are the major things that we addressed.
Well, we changed the application. The application itself, which isn't in here.
Oh,
It includes,
Yeah.
it adds to it a renter or leasing person who is doing the project or whatever, has to have the owner of the building signature and all the necessary insurances and that kind of thing too.
That is mentioned in here.
Yeah, but the application
The
itself was
application,
missing
okay.
off of the copies that were in here,
Okay.
because it is different.